Okay, so it's like June 26th, I think, and the last couple of days I was working on the fender flares for the rear, and I got everything all measured up, and then I realized that if I would have done the fender flare, moved the tires out to match it and all that, the car literally would have been 90 inches wide, which is fucking insane. So to give you a reference of how wide that is, some of the widest cars in the market are the Maserati MC12. I think it's 84 inches wide, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Ultimate Aero SSC, which is 82, if I'm not mistaken. I looked at the measurements years ago. It's off the top of my head. I know they are the two widest. The MC12 is the widest. But everybody else is like 80, 77. Like a 599 is 77 inches. Aventador is 80 inches. Anyway, so Liberty Walk adds another 2.75 to the rear, 1.5 I think to the front, or maybe 1.8, something like that. Let's call it 2 inches. And so when you add all that up, this would have been even wider than that. So that's kind of insane. And I do want this car to be functional. So right now, as it sits, since I did widen it, I am at what looks like 85 inches at the end of the tire. So basically, this is going to be a design that if I put a Liberty Walk fender flare on it stock, that this will probably be the width. But without the fender flare, this is the width of the car stock. So I'm still within the realm of aesthetics of a wide car. Should be functional. I've been trying to catch up with somebody that actually has a Liberty Walk car to see if they've had any challenges parking and drive-thrus and shit like that, because I'm obviously in the US and things are just different here. Like having a Koenigsegg with the curbs that we have, if you open that door, you're gonna fuck your door up, because our curbs are 5 inches or 6 inches or sometimes even higher off the ground in a regular city. And if you open that door up, you ain't getting out, or you're gonna fuck your car up if somebody doesn't know. If you get out the driver's side, all right, good luck with that, but it's still gonna spin out into the traffic and could be a problem. But anyway, that's how I snowball this stuff out. So I am going to, I guess, have to dial it in at this point, and knowing that it's going to be 83 inches wide. But it looks like, no, I'm not even going to speak on that. Yeah, I ain't going to speak on it. Like, I could get away with probably still doing a fender flare on here and like cutting this away and then recessing this, and then it allows this to kind of come out and around. Since it's already curved naturally, I can make it look like a fender flare, especially if that was like air induction. But I already have air induction on the top that I've already engineered, plus there's going to be a side skirt down there. I'm not trying to have Swiss cheese back here. And if I was more of a design person, I could probably figure some shit out to make all that tie in, but it's not that fucking serious. Or maybe I'll save that design for something later. Anyway, so that's where I am at this point. I wanted to take the other stock tires out and put the actual rims in there to figure out what it's actually going to look like, how it's going to sit, how far over. And I think it actually looks good. Everything is in perspective. Let me see how much I gotta put. Yeah, I gotta push that rim out a lot. I mean the knuckle out a lot in order to meet the rim. You guys can see that. Bam! So that's probably, I don't know, 6-7 inches or whatever that has to be widened in order to meet the rim. But that's the reason why I'm designing my car from the outside in, so that way I don't have to worry about sacrificing or having to settle with the particular aesthetic like most guys do with a car, because the suspension or whatever is not going to allow for a deep dish or whatever. And those are the kind of things that, for some people that know about cars, as soon as they see the rim offset, they ought to know this is not just a body sitting on top of another car, especially with the front. And I'll show you. So my front, I specifically wanted a 2-inch lip outside of the center, but that is a 6-inch lip, if I'm not mistaken, or a 5-inch lip or something like that. But anyway, exotic cars don't have that because of their suspension up front, and it doesn't allow for it. It always has to be a shallow rim if you notice it. So For those that see the car coming down the street, you're gonna know right out the gate, this is not a car sitting on top of another car or some MR2 bullshit or anything like that. They're gonna know. Other people won't. They'll be like, oh, well, maybe it's a kit. But anyway, us real folks know. And that's why I specifically designed it like that. I actually had those lips done twice because originally the center plate was shallow with the front lip and I only gave it 2 inches. And because I really wanted to secure that element of this build, I had them redo it. I actually have pictures that I think shows that rim being that shallow and where I had it redone. So anyway, back to the rear. That kind of concludes this video. So my goal at this point is to see, the Zonda doesn't actually have a lip. There's not like a flat spot here like how you would see normally on cars. But I did, you know, create a lip. Trying to think maybe if I should have it, I don't know, come off and I can kind of create something over here in the rear. But I was gonna line it up with the wheel. So that's the goal tonight, to figure out how I want to have it set up and look and make sure everything is lined up.